What is up, RetroManiacs? Welcome to the Retro Card Chat Podcast. My name is Mike, and I am from Mike's Retro Trading Cards. I'm joined by two men that sit on a throne of lies. They smell like beef and cheese. They're not Santa. Well, at least one of them. They are, of course, Joe Day and EP Eric Bahalik. How you doing, boys?
Great movie. Top 5. Mount Rushmore. Mount Rushmore Christmas movie.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. I'm going to start watching it. Famously, Mike, the two people at the top have been Santa Claus. And I did smell like beef and cheese every time I did. So that all
sounds about right.
I always smell like beef and cheese.
I do as well, but I've never been Santa. So,
man, now I could go for a beef and cheese stick.
You're pretty much surrounded by royalty here. Like, what other podcast can you have two co-hosts that both have been Santa Claus?
I know. I appreciate it every week. I think to myself, I can't believe I get to be on a podcast with two guys who have played Santa Claus.
Amazing. We are amazing.
Wait. Okay. While we're there, top 4 Christmas movies. Go. Elf.
Christmas Vacation is number 1.
Christmas Vacation.
Yeah.
That's number 1.
It's
I think
in the Mount Rushmore.
Probably number 2 for me.
Yeah.
I'll Be Home for Christmas with Jonathan Taylor Thomas is definitely in the top. Not in the top 5. Watch it every year. It is horrible, and it is so horrible it's good. So I don't know. That's where it gets tough.
I'm one of those people. Diehards on my.
See, you're a diehard person. Like, I don't fight back that it's a Christmas movie or not, but it whatever. Home Alone. Home Alone's up there for me. I like The Family Stone. It's most people haven't watched it, but Craig T. Nelson's in it. It's actually pretty good, but that's probably my Mount Rushmore.
Do we have to put a Christmas Story up there? I mean, my dad watched that. It is no, it's whatever.
Like I can't. I avoid TBS or TNT or whatever channel it's on for like 36 hours. I'm out on that. But give me a channel of just Christmas Vacation. Like that's never been a thing. How is that not a thing?
The thing is, for as much as I saw too much of A Christmas Story, my dad was somebody who would just leave that channel on and just watch it over and over and over. It is very quotable. There are a lot of very quotable moments in it, and there are a lot of things that people know, like across the
lamp. The leg lamp is big. Right. Shoot your eye out is in the lexicon.
I mean, so it's very well known. So I kind of should be on.
Comment down below. What are your Mount Rushmore Christmas movies?
I'm giving my 4th. I can't get word in here on my podcast.
Sorry,
Santa Claus. I love the Santa Claus.
Okay.
But it's fun, dumb. Back when Tim Allen was actually entertaining. So
he might come up later. Actually.
Wow. No idea what that means.
That's like a teaser.
Boy, I want to get on the road to get there. So. What's going on? What's going on, Joe?
I was going to talk about my Thanksgiving. There's a really funny story that Mike said that's more of a live stream story. So I'm going to keep that one. I'm going to hold that one for the live stream. But I was thinking to myself, what would EP be thankful for this holiday season? And it reminded me that a year ago, almost to the day, we talked about Thanksgiving and what EP is thankful for when it comes to Fanatics.
I remember that.
You remember this? The things that EP guaranteed Fanatics would do once they take over the hobby. And I'm like, wouldn't it be fun to go back and see how Fanatics is done with those 5 things? So I'm thinking a year later, maybe we'll do this a yearly tradition of EP's. Did you go around the table again, EP, and be thankful for Fanatics and all they've done for the hobby?
Well, am I Thanksgiving?
Yeah, was that all you talked about with your family?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
They're all big card collectors.
So let's go one by one to see how Fanatics is doing with these things that EP guaranteed they would do.
I guarantee. I don't.
Yeah, you did. EP, we have evidence of
it. Absolutely.
All right.
I'm crack open my beverage right now.
All right. So number 1, all memorabilia cards would be game used, and all autos would be on card.
I did not say that. You made up this whole list, didn't you?
I don't think they've done that. I mean, the memorabilia cards I'm not sure about, but I still see sticker auto, so I'm not 100% sure if they've been doing that. All right, number 2, the EP guaranteed he was thankful for because he was guaranteeing the Fanatics was going to be doing this. Only one of one. That might be good. They haven't accidentally slipped in multiple 1-of-1s in a product since that last time, right? So I think maybe we got to give them a thumbs up on this one. So EP, good call on saying that you guarantee only 1-of-1s. All right, this is a big one. I'm not sure they're going to hit this. They're close. All boxes will only cost $99.99 or less. Mercury just
they only
pushed
have
them over
one
the
product,
edge. Mercury pushed them over the edge on that $99.99. From what I understand, Big League still only $1.99 a box.
EP didn't know about Mercury. It wasn't a
That's
thing.
True. They didn't give him right.
So
That's
really,
but everything else
being that cheap,
has been $99.99 or less. Fantastic. Like I said, Topps Big League, $1.99 a box. Fantastic. 36 packs, $1.99. It's amazing. All right, number 4. This was a big win for a lot of people when we talked about this last year. EP guaranteed all boxes come with a puppy. Mike, you have opened up numerous boxes of Topps products.
I have 18 puppies now.
18 puppies now. It's adorable. I mean, you're still waiting on a redemption for I think an Irish setter. If I remember, they had little redemptions for those. Yeah. So, okay, that check mark for that. Good job, Fanatics. And then finally, you asked about Tim Allen, EP. This is where we're going with that one. EP guaranteed that Kat Dennings of Thor: Love and Thunder fame, the greatest movie since Citizen Kane, would hand deliver every single box. Now, they're not getting the check mark for this. She's now in a new show with Tim Allen called Shifting Gears. So her schedule has been busy. They're working with Natalie Portman to take over that responsibility. So we'll see how that goes. But I can't give them the check mark for that, EP. You guaranteed this to us, and they haven't brought it to us. What's going on, man?
Maybe Tim Allen will be delivering all of them at Christmas.
As the Santa Claus.
And she'll ride with. Yeah, she'll be shotgun.
So we'll give them until the end of the year.
We'll have to check back after Christmas. Absolutely.
It's only fair. So, EP, those were the 5 things you guaranteed. Do you have any additional guarantees from Fanatics, or are you set with those 5 for right now?
I'm going to just stick with those for now. I don't want to make any more crazy promises to the viewers. I apologize.
Guarantees, not promises, not predictions. Guarantees.
I remember that. Yeah. Wow. Well,
good job.
Good job there, EP. Yeah. I'll drink to that. My hot coffee here.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Scalding hot coffee.
No, it's good now, though.
Okay.
If I wouldn't have made it that hot before we started, it wouldn't be the right temperature now.
That's fair.
Let him know.
Or maybe your tongue is so burned it has no sensation left.
It's not about the amount of warming up that you did. It's that you have to drink it right away after you take it out of the microwave.
I have to know how hot it is so I can judge how hot it'll be once we start.
Do you always put it at 2.5 minutes? Has it changed?
Necessary. Well, depending on how hot it is before it goes in, will determine. I could put it in the microwave the same amount of time. If it's colder, it won't be as warm at that period of time. That's how it works. If it's hot and then I do 2.5 minutes, it'll be really hot. If it's cold and do 2.5, it'll be just about right.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
That's our TED Talk this week. And we'll see you next week. What's new, EP?
Well, Sunday morning before we talk each Sunday morning about stuff, kind of like getting ready for the week to record live on Monday morning.
Sometimes right before we record the podcast, but some of us are ready to start. I don't know.
But anyhow, I actually sold a James Cook NFL Uno card for $15. So
wow. Okay.
They're the wild cards, the foil cards are some of them are very, very tough to pull. And I think there's a Patrick Mahomes listed for $50. And so I was I listed mine for $19.99, and someone made an offer of $15. I was like, the boosters cost $5 for one. I was like, I'll take $15 for a James Cook card for sure. So I mean, those cards are really. I mean, you can get. Obviously, there's no the back isn't Uno back. They're not like actual cards, but they have the licenses and the actual photos of the players and the names and stuff, and they're actually pretty desirable. I've got
NFL Monopoly is coming, kids. I'm calling it now. NFL Monopoly from Panini. After they lose the licenses, they're going to figure it out. It's going to happen.
I'm just it's amazing to me that like Patrick Mahomes is only 50 and James Cook is 15. Like, how's that a thing?
Yeah,
he's having a rough season this year. Patrick is having a rough season. That must be it.
Yeah, he's done. He's toast. But
Yep.
who knew?
Yeah,
Who knows?
yeah. It's
I
pretty
think you're
wild.
telling everybody watching they should go out and buy like thousands of dollars worth of this, and you will be able to make tons of money on it.
No.
Grade them all.
If you
Yeah.
I don't know if they grade them yet, but the thing is, if you are somebody like me who you do reselling, like you can buy one of the booster boxes for like $5. It comes with a pack of four foil cards and like 56 other cards that are, I mean, and it's all licensed, it's all players. And I mean, if you just, I mean, you're gonna have to spend some time listing it and everything, but I mean, that's it for 8 cents a card. It's a really good deal right now. One of the best deals out there you can get in the hobbies. First, like buying a new product.
Wow.
Your per card math is really, I mean, you learned that from your buddy Rob.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of foil, before we move on, Mike, have you guys seen this 1992 Marvel Masterpieces Platinum that's coming out December 4th?
So Spidey Hits talking about it, but I didn't.
Yeah, they're re-releasing 1992 Marvel Masterpieces, making them foil cards, and they're going to have PMGs in them. It's like $300 a box. I'm tempted to buy one. I'm probably not going to, but I'm tempted.
Joe, you should buy a box. Mike, Joe, you should buy a box.
Definitely.
How about we split? Let's split a box.
Because if he buys a box, he's buying a case, right?
Yeah.
Cases are like $4,500.
Yeah, but just think about all the fun you'll have. Just remember back to Wolverine Ultra. Okay.
Yeah. No. That's like way more expensive. But no, it actually looks pretty cool. I might be looking at some singles when that stuff comes out on eBay for sure. But it's a cool looking product. The Upper Deck is like, we gotta get as much money.
People like that kind of content on our channel.
Yeah.
So if I can lose my ass ripping retail, you can buy a hobby box every now and then. Come on.
Watch his last one. It's not great.
Watch the Mosaic football rip that I posted Saturday night. And tell me, like, I wish I would have put that money toward a Marvel Masterpieces box or anything else. But it's entertaining how bad it is. So watch it. It's a good video.
Yes.
I finally wrapped up my Football Mania sale. The 30-day deadline came and went, and I had 3 non-paying bidders this time.
Oh, geez.
I saw one big one. I saw a big one with a lot of Barry Sanders.
I did post, like, somebody had a 63 card stack loaded with really good Barry Sanders cards and stuff. Like, I don't understand somebody spending that kind of time to follow a sale for multiple nights and then to just totally ghost somebody. And they're active on Twitter. They've been reposting stuff. They don't like tweet a lot, but they repost stuff. So I
went and looked because of course I did when you posted their name, because someone specifically asked. You weren't going to put them on blast.
I didn't blast them, but if somebody's asking, I'm going to be honest.
Because here's
somebody else figured it out before I even said it. Yeah. They posted it and tagged him.
Yeah.
It's like,
and here's the thing. If someone asked, chances are they're another stack seller who doesn't want to get caught the same way you did, who doesn't want to waste their time. So that's completely fair to ask and to post that. But I went through their timeline, lots of stuff trying to get free.
Mm-hmm.
That seems like a benchmark for people who don't pay you on Twitter or they want to get something for free from you on Twitter or whatever. Lots of reposting of, oh, you could win this or you could get this for free. Lots of that. And he's a man of God. He puts right in his bio, I'm pretty sure God would pay for a stack sale. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm pretty sure, right? I'm pretty sure he would. So if you're a man of God, do the godly thing and pay for your goddamn stack sale, right?
Yeah, that easy.
Whenever I see somebody on Twitter that is like all their entire post is all just like give me free giveaway stuff, I won't follow them back. Like I can't do it because if you're not contributing anything, like why even bother? I hate this for you, Mike. I had somebody not nearly on the scale. They're obviously Smith cards. I had my baseball stack sale a couple, like probably even like a year ago at this point, maybe, I forget even when it was, but I had a bunch of Ozzie Smith stuff and some really cool Ozzie Smith stuff, but none of that's expensive. But I had somebody that just grabbed a whole pile of it, including like there's one from like the St. Louis Post-Dispatch that had like a special stamp on it, just kind of some really cool stuff. So I was happy to give this person, a bunch of really cool Ozzie Smith cards. Mm-hmm. They deleted their account. I couldn't even send the invoice because they deleted their account. And I was like, well, that's a pretty harsh response.
That's
to
aggressive.
Not wanting to pay. Yeah, pay.
Don't worry, they created another account so they could retweet all the free shit.
Right.
That's that's for sure.
The thing that bothers me, like, I'm not out the cards and stuff like that. And I actually had another Twitter user that stepped up and offered to take the stack, and I gave him a little bit of a deal on it. So that's going out to him. That happens a lot too. And I appreciate that I have people that follow me that will do that kind of stuff. But like with all the Barry Sanders in there, I have a couple buyers that follow me every sale that have bought tons of Barry Sanders from me. And it's like, that bothers me that they missed out on a chance to claim some of the cards, because they definitely would have. And, just more so than, like I said, at the end of the day, I'm putting the time into the sale anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. I don't lose the cards. It's not like getting scammed. But I do feel bad for the people that I know that are good buyers that would have liked the cards. It's kind of silly, but I do. Like, that's my enjoyment in this hobby. And, watch our show on Wednesday. We're going to be talking about this and stuff too. One of my things. I enjoy that, and I enjoy getting cards to people. That's making that connection. It's the old card shop owner in me that's never gone away and is never going to go away. So that disappoints me. But
I mean, last Wednesday when we said what we were thankful for.
Yeah.
Last Wednesday, definitely check that one out. It's a good show.
No, it is this Wednesday. It's trust me. You'll know after we record it.
Okay. We spend a lot of time talking about being good sellers, but I mean, being a good buyer is an important thing too. Right? We spend a lot of time talking about that, but I mean, that just be good buyers, that makes the hobby better, right?
But all is not lost.
Oh,
because I came across a playoff payoff instant win scratch off.
Yes. Dude.
And even though I went to playoffinc.com and it just takes you to a web development company now, I thought I would scratch this off and let's see what we win. Should I do it?
Yes,
absolutely.
Quarter here.
Okay, and I'm pretty sure Panini will honor this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh my God, it won't even come off. Wow. Well, I would let you know if I was a winner or not. We're getting close. Look at that. I'm shaking the camera.
For the audio listeners, you're welcome. Yeah, give him a little ASMR, Mike. There it is.
Okay, well, unfortunately, the scratch off doesn't work.
I think that's a winner.
I'm just going to assume I'm a winner, though. I'm going to
send it in anyway. Mail it in anyway. See what happens.
See what happens. All right. Well, let's get to, I hate to make the whole podcast about me, but I'm going to make the whole podcast about me. Our top story this week. Oh, come on, Joe. Joe just left. He doesn't want to talk about me. I don't get to talk at all on this podcast ever. I rarely talk about myself or my hobbying. So this week, I thought I would a little bit because I feel like other collectors can relate. I have a problem.
Yes.
It was just Thanksgiving. The kids were here. I actually had people in this room here that had to sleep in another room where I might have cards. All our bedrooms were full, and we needed the dining room, which, okay, I had a lot of cards in the dining room too. So I needed to move stuff to make room, to have the kids here, to have Thanksgiving dinner. And I did not know what to do. I don't have any more room. And I started to get really stressed out because I have too many cards. Like, they're just taking over my house and I can't have this. Like, it's gotten to the point now where it's reached the critical mass and there's nowhere else I can go with this stuff while I have more stuff coming.
Build up.
Sale.
You got to build up.
I know, like, I don't even have an attic. I have like a little crawl space, which, come on, what are the odds I'm going to fit up a crawl space? But yeah, I don't know, like, EP, you have a lot of stuff around you. Do you ever get that feeling of, oh my God, what am I going to do with all this stuff?
I wake up with that feeling and go to bed with that feeling. Yes.
Okay, good.
You have a garage, though. I mean, you got a whole second half of a garage you could fill with cards. I think you don't have enough cards.
I don't have any room in any of the garages that I have access to.
I know.
Build a building in your backyard. I don't understand what the issue is.
A card building. Your own card building in the backyard.
Yes.
Solved.
And I could have hours where I'm open, and it won't be a shop. But
no. So there's some legality to that, but get permits and shit. But yeah, handled.
So that was my Thanksgiving because I'm very stressed out about it. But I did finally make some room in the garage. I got the cards out of the dining room, but I have to get rid of some cards. And I decided my first step was I was finally going to send cards into COMC. Yes, this was a big roundabout way to get to the point here, but I am sending in 400 cards to COMC.
That's not going to do what you think it does. You need to send way more cards than that.
It's like an 800 count box. It's a start, Joe. Don't discourage me now. Like, I'm not going to do it at all.
You can't run before you walk, man. You can't run before you walk.
Baby steps.
I have the big issue I have is, and this does make sense, is because I buy in bulk. EP, you see what I buy and you see how I buy, but I make money on that bulk. Like, I'm not losing money on what I'm buying. I like, just say for instance, I buy a lot of cards for $100. I do my stack sales. I do whatever else. I sell $200 worth of those cards. I made $100 profit, but all that extra stuff is there. And it's really becoming more and more like aware to myself that I don't have time to do everything I want to do. People say, well, sell on COMC or sell on Sport Lots or, put them on eBay. The thing is, I have a block of time and I'm a stack seller. I spend most of that time selling the stuff in my sales and shipping that stuff out. Like, yes, I could do this, I could do that, but I don't have the time because I'm also doing this and that takes up that block of time. So like, I have, do you guys, can you relate as a collector
100%.
that you have, but there's stuff in there that's valuable. Like, I have that huge football card collection. I've already made way more money on that than like most people would assume. And I have all these cards left, but I'm like, yeah, but I could sell player lots on eBay. But when? Like, I don't have the time to do it.
Right. You have to put the lots together. You have to research what's in the lot.
Yeah, time.
Yeah, Like, I 100% agree with this. You've been talking about this for years at this point, I think, sending stuff off to COMC.
Yeah, and stuff is just piling up more.
And it keeps piling up. And the thing I like about COMC is that I don't ever fear that they're going to screw it up, like, say, at DC Sports Cards, right? Mm-hmm. Like I see so many consigners screw up listings that, like, COMC feels like they're pretty good about that. And you just have to send one box. What do you have to sleeve up everything, I believe?
Yeah, they're in sleeve.
Yeah, you have to sleeve up everything. You have to put it in one box and you have to ship it off. And then they pretty much do the rest. Do they handle the pricing, or when they upload the cards, do you price them?
It goes into your dashboard and then you decide.
Then you go through
and the price. Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, if you weren't going to go through them and list them on eBay or do variation listings or lot listings, this is the best way to do it for time wise, for basically free money at this point, especially with that football collection you bought. So yeah, I mean, it makes total sense. I'm just saying, once that first 400 go out, maybe find another 400 and send those out too. Maybe maybe that's your goal. Every month, send out X amount of cards and try and make that goal. And then that way, eventually you get to the point where you can, I don't know, use more than one room of your house, which would be fantastic.
At least my cards would be COMC's problem at that point.
Yes, yes. This is why you're thankful for Amy, right? Right.
I when I sent when you sent us a text about this, I replied. I have questions about this because I'm very interested in hearing how this whole process goes and everything like that. And I have a lot of cards, as you mentioned. The thing is, I don't have as many cards that in that like $5 range, $5 to $10 range that is probably the best for COMC. So I'm not prepared to go ahead and do that. But if I was in your case, if I was in your situation, I would also consider setting up at a card show. And even if you just sell those cards for 25 cents a piece, you're going to move cards like crazy, I would think. But anyhow,
work.
It is. I know, I know, but I think that would be another option. But that said, like I'm interested to see how this whole COMC thing goes for you, like how long it takes from when you submit it to when they get up there, and then like how much time you have to put into pricing it and all that sort of stuff. And listening, I realize that you just have to look at the comp and then hit a button, type in a couple numbers, but that's all going to take you some time.
Does it tell you what a comp is for that card, in your
COMC
dashboard?
Yeah, I'm sure it will. COMC has all that stuff for when you're buying stuff.
You know what would be a good video? Screen record you listing some of these cards on, like a how-to do a COMC order. I think people would be really interested in that because, again, I have questions too. Like when they upload the card, what's the process of like? Do you just see what the other, like now eBay has that AI option where it shows you like recent sales. Now they're not always perfect, but it kind of gives you a range. I'm curious of COMC because they do dabble in these cards quite a bit. I'm curious if they have like, oh, these are what they're listed at now.
If you buy a bunch of cards from there and you don't send them to yourself right away, they're listed in your as your your inventory or whatever. So it's probably, I would assume it just will pop up in your inventory in that way. And so if you're going to release cards on COMC, like all that stuff is kind of on the page of the thing. So I assumed it would be the same thing. But again,
what assuming does.
Right. We don't know until it actually shows up. So that's, again, I'm very interested in this, even though I don't have enough foreign cards to send in. I think I'm interested to see, just in case
you have enough cards to send in. That's
I aspire to have enough cards to be able to send in at some point. So yeah.
My plan is when I run a stack sale, take like the $3 and up cards that I don't sell and send them to COMC. So that's kind of what I did here. But then I started digging through other boxes and kept finding a lot more cards. So that was pretty much my cutoff, though. I wanted to find stuff that was, around $3 or more, maybe some that were a little under, but stuff that I figured I'm okay with putting this out and being the cheapest price on it. And hopefully I can move some stuff. I don't know if I'll sell anything. So they're 50 cents a card to send it in. So it'll be $200 up front. And then they charge you 15% if you withdraw money. So if I were to take the money and cash out, you get charged 15%, but you can take that money and buy another card. Like if you have like $500 worth of money from sales, you can buy a card and have that shipped to yourself and you don't pay the fees. So like, that's the cool thing about it. And,
and then you can take that card and maybe sell it,
or if there's something you want for more sales stuff. So you could buy other stuff to try to flip on there. So there's a lot of ways to go with it. So I will keep people updated more as we go. But just wanted to share that I was getting a little stressed out about all the cards I have. I do have to.
Bailey is very
stressed too. But I do need to do a better job. I think when I buy a collection of stuff and I take what I want out of it, I need to list the rest of it on Facebook Marketplace. I feel like that, for cheap to get rid of the stuff, I feel like that is a good option too. And maybe I need to start doing that. Maybe I need to sell to other sellers. I don't know. I need to get a little more organized instead of having, this sale, the leftovers, half a 5,000 count box here and another half a 5,000 box here from another sale. I have multiple boxes like that all around. So I'll have some football cards available that are pretty good.
Did you have an upper limit on? So I'm not going to send anything over like $20 or anything, or were you just like whatever it is? Like was it all?
Yeah. What are you willing to hold to put on eBay then, for example?
Yeah.
Most of the stuff from my stack sale, I put in the COMC order. So I have a couple cards that are probably like $40 cards in there that were left over. So I have like a Kurt Warner autograph that I've tried to sell in a couple sales that didn't sell. I'll put that on there. A couple others, not a lot of bigger cards, but yeah, so the older stuff like that, I'd rather just try it on COMC and see how it does. So.
Okay.
All right. Well, I have a little bit of news this week. Not a whole lot going on. We can actually just talk about cards this week instead of all the craziness that goes on in the hobby. But did you see that Shohei Ohtani wants his $325,000 worth of cards back from his former interpreter, Ippei Mitsuhara?
Well done.
I guess, thank you very much. I've said that quite a bit on this podcast. He petitioned in U.S. District Court in California to get the $325,000 worth of cards back, and apparently a bunch of autographs that he personally autographed for him too that he had in his collection. So yeah, dude, I want my cards back. You bought them with my money. I want them. So there we are.
It's wild to see that, considering the MLB is covering up Shohei's obvious involvement in this whole thing.
This is not true.
I kid.
Where's that hat?
Allegedly. Yeah, I'm down. I'm not in the usual recording space, so the hat is not available. So hopefully no conspiracy theory stuff today. But did the interpreter sell the cards?
I don't think so. No, he was collecting them. Yeah.
Well, then
stuff he bought on eBay, and
yeah. I mean, if that's the case, then it should be easy. This feels pretty, open and closed kind of thing. If he's got them, they should be part of any sort of settlement, considering he has stolen quite a bit of money from Ohtani. I'm guessing that getting the cards back and probably everything down to the guy's toothbrush will be sold off to kind of reclaim this money. So, I wouldn't be surprised if he was able to get those back. Now, if he sold them, to try and make money, get Shohei to sign some stuff and then selling this, which is what I would have done, by the way. If I was going to be a criminal, I would have bought these cards and then had Shohei sign them and then flood the market with Shohei autos. But hey, that's, hey, Shohei, can you sign this thing you need for the team? Sure. And then he starts signing.
We're going to auction off for kids. We're going to auction off for the kids.
Yeah, we're going to auction. You're right. If you're going to really be a dirtbag, be a dirtbag. But so this shouldn't be too tough to get back. But I'd love to see what he has. I'd love to see. There's probably a list out there. If there's a filing, there's got to be some sort of list out there of what he actually purchased. And I bet you it was some fun stuff with Shohei's pocketbook, Yeah,
that's what I was gonna say. There's probably some amazing stuff in there. Like Shohei's got some really cool stuff and some stuff that I'll never see, like orange refractor autographs, that sort of stuff. There would be probably some crazy stuff out there. I'm happy for Shohei for doing this. Again. The whole thing was crappy. That everything that worked out, it was just by being a close friend and everything. So I'm happy for Shohei to do this, and hopefully he gets those cards.
And we've all just had people taking money out of our accounts. I mean, they're called kids usually, but
God, I'm out of those. I don't have any of those hanging around.
Well, Shohei's not the only person that's looking for his own cards. Did you see the player? There are people looking for their own Topps debut 1/1 cards. Jordan Lawler saw a tweet that somebody had posted that his debut card was pulled, and he retweeted that and quote tweeted it saying, "Let's connect," and he even tagged card purchaser in the
man. That's awesome.
So he's looking to try to get his card. It's kind of cool. We're in an era now where more players are openly card collectors and involving themselves in the hobby. I know this is something way back in the early episodes we talked a lot about how cool it would be that there are people that collect, that if these people could actually be more of the hobby and we know who they are. And here we have people looking for their hottest card for themselves, which kind of weird in one way, but kind of cool in another way.
That's where I fall on this.
Steal the cards. Hey, Michael, I don't know what happened to it.
Real quick, back to the Shohei thing before I forget. It would be cool if you got these cards back and then auction them off for charity EP. You would kind of mention, right. We jokingly said, sell them for charity. But it would be kind of cool if he did something with them, out of this bad thing, something good potentially could happen. So I think that would be really cool. A lot of PR love for Shohei if he did that. To this thing, I'm kind of with you, Mike. Like I don't know. It just feels it's like drafting yourself in fantasy football kind of thing. Like, I don't know. Like, it's cool that they want those cards, but then I also think, but they should be out in the collector's sphere. They, like maybe these people aren't just collectors, but they're collectors of themselves, which again, it's like Googling yourself. It's kind of weird, but I don't know. Like, I think it's cool in one way, but in another way, it's like, I'd rather just a collector get this. But then the way our hobby is, a collector has to be a millionaire because whoever pulls this card isn't going to keep it. Chances are they're going to sell it regardless. And if they're going to sell it, chances are they're going to go to the highest bidder, which could be that player, So I don't know. It's just, it's cool, but it's also weird in the same way, like you said.
I agree 100% with that. But I think in this case, in most cases, but I think in this case it's a little bit different. I feel like this one, because there's probably a big deal made in the game when they wear the patch. Right. And so these players are wearing this patch, and they like, even if they're like marginal, like they probably all know about baseball cards, but if they're marginal, if they're not collectors or whatever, but like, it'd be kind of cool to have the card that had this thing that I wore.
Made it to the major leagues.
Right.
That's like that proves it. Yeah. I'm here.
Right. I feel like that's a thing where
and put two patches, put two patches on the uniform. The player gets to keep one, and one goes into packs. Why not? I mean, call it a 1 and 2.
How do we know they didn't wear 4 different patches during the game, and then the other ones are distributed elsewhere? That'll show up in like 10 years from now or something like that, or like next year or whatever. But one of the things we talk about a lot on here is about social media and about how social media is crap. And I know, I'm guessing this interaction between these two people, there's probably some bunch of haters in the comments at some point. I'm absolutely certain of that, but we also can talk about social media being good, and the fact that 20 years ago, there's no way that Jordan Lawler would have been able to find out that if this card was pulled, let alone be able to have a chance to get it if he wanted it. So I think this is also, for as much as I crap on social media people sometimes, like this is a really good instance of social media. I think
I'm a social media person, aren't I?
No, yeah, but you're not.
I'm not
that I talked about.
Okay,
you're not one of those people I talked about last week at the end of the show last week. You don't do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, let's talk about that real quick for a second. Let's talk about that real quick for a second. So EP drops possibly one of the worst things you can just say as a swear, right? Mm-hmm. Drops at the very end. Now, number one, for years since we started this channel, Mike has always warned me about my swearing. He's like, you need to watch yourself on the channel. We can't be swearing like the way you swear when we're in private. You can't be doing that because that would be bad for the channel. So I generally don't. EP famously dropped the first F-bomb. And by the way, it was when we had a guest on the channel. Then he drops the big CS last week. Like, okay, let's reevaluate who the potty mouth is that we have to worry about on a weekly basis, right? That's number one. Number two, a few weeks ago, Mike, you said you read somewhere that you put a random word at the end to see if people were watching, and it was pancakes. I think EP took that idea to the next level because the amount of people that commented.
We did find out a lot of people watch.
A lot of people watched till the very end because EP dropped that CS right at the very end. So thank you for all of you who watched to the very end. We had a pretty good showing on that podcast, over 300 views. I don't know the audio listeners. Could you imagine driving off the side of the road when they hear some of this stuff? So EP, number one, watch yourself.
I clean it up. I'll clean it up. I will.
Let's clean it up.
Yep.
And number two, thanks for watching till the very end, everyone. Wait till you hear the word EP uses this week.
I know. Maybe this should be the thing.
This should be the
throws out a different swear word every week at the end.
Like just an absolute, mind blowing swear word every week.
It.
Yeah.
I think we found a niche.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I've had this idea for a topic in my head for a couple weeks now. We haven't gotten to it because we've had a couple busy weeks, but I think we'll get to it now. This could be completely anecdotal on my end, but I feel like the tone of a lot of content on YouTube from sports card content creators is changing. I feel like, now don't get me wrong, there are gray areas of everything. Nothing is absolute that I'm talking here, but I feel like a lot of the investor type content there isn't as much of it out there. And some of those people are starting to do more collector content, for lack of a better word. Jeff Wilson has clearly like reshaped his channel. He still does some of the investing stuff, but is not like as always every video like it was before. Even like people like Dustin, I feel like his videos have changed. Neo has had some videos lately too that have made me go, that's not something he usually does. Are people like us that like to actually enjoy the hobby maybe winning? I don't know, for lack of a better word.
Winning.
Yeah. Or am I off base? Do you not see that too? Like I
100%.
I admittedly don't watch everything. I don't watch a lot, honestly. I don't like to watch a lot of content because we do the podcast and I don't want my ideas to be clouded by somebody else's opinion. I watch stuff after the fact, but there isn't much sports card content I really watch consistently. You guys turn me on to Silver Sport, and I have been watching some of theirs because they're fun. Like, it's fun time to listen to. You can have it on in the background and just hear their banner. But like, yeah, a lot of the news or issue types or the investment types, I kind of steer clear of. But is this something you see too? What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. And I'll say as well, like for anyone who watches this podcast or listens to this podcast and thinks, well, you guys talk about news, you don't really talk as much collecting. I disagree. There have been people that have commented that. Well, we talk about a lot of collecting on the podcast for sure, but definitely watch our Wednesday shows. Definitely watch our Friday shows. Definitely watch all of the box rips. I have empty Star Trek boxes behind me, not because of investment advice, but because I like to open up
all of our other content.
All of our other content. This is the
leans
news.
toward collector content. Yeah,
right. Exactly. So thank you for joining us. For all of you who went from investing to collecting. What's kind of hilarious to me is you talked about Northeast Ohio Cards and Comics and how he has been doing more collector-based stuff. Didn't he like complain about no one watches his collector-based stuff?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like pretty whiny complaining about it on Twitter. And it's like, sure, if your only goal in this hobby is to get views on your stuff, sure, maybe there's stuff that's more flashy. But I think what's happening is those content creators are seeing that a lot of the investment people are dropping off. And the people that are going to stick around are people like us, the collectors who are going to open up a box of cards, not to get that big hit, but because it's fun or it's nostalgic or something like that. So the collectors are definitely hanging on where the investors are dropping off. And I'm happy about that. Like the investors, they were dabbling in stuff that we weren't dabbling in regardless. But to see them kind of move out of the hobby, if you want to keep your channel relevant now, you have to have at worst a mix. I'm not saying you have to go 100% one way or the other. And I think the perfect example of that mix is Chris Sewell. I mean, he's the absolute perfect example of the collecting side of it and the investing side of it, because he does talk about, he just bought a collection. Great video, guys. If you haven't watched it yet, he bought a collection for like $10,000 and he's obviously going to sell a lot of this stuff, but the way he talks about it is very interesting. And then he'll talk about stuff from his collection and he'll do, questions and answers, stuff like that. I think you need that mix, and he hits it. And I think other content creators are looking at it and saying, we probably should get closer to that than straight up investment stuff.
Yeah. You hit the nail on the head, Joe, with the changing, change, kind of not a changing of the guard, but kind of a changing of sentiment back to what we know and love from the 90s, like just cards, like knowing and loving cards and still flipping cards, which we do. Like that's a different thing than just flipping cards, just being in it just because you want to get the RPA that you can flip or the holo you want to flip or stuff like that. That's a totally different thing. And I do agree. I wrote down a couple notes. Like first off, Mike, don't worry about the news podcasts. Typically, when I listen to the newsier podcasts the week after our show, they're talking about the same stuff we've already talked about on Sunday. or on Monday, our Monday show. So don't worry about it. We're already getting all that sort of stuff. But there are a lot of podcasts that they're taking a break, or they're leaving altogether because they kind of got in
sports card radios.
I was just going to,
well, yeah. I mean, but like just the audio podcast listen to, like they're also like a lot of, and it's not like that their content was super specific to investing, but it's because that they bought all these probably high dollar cards, and they're in it for this high dollar stuff, talking about the high dollar stuff. But that's not like they're probably not getting the listens anymore, and they're just not as excited about it anymore because it's not. The numbers aren't going up as high as they were, before, and so I'm happy about that as the collector that I am, the card hobbyist that I am. Then I believe you guys probably both are the same way, and so it's good to see. I'm happy that like the YouTubers are. Some of the YouTubers are out there doing that, where they're switching to more of our kind of content. I feel like for as much as Chris Sewell, I think we have a really good mix too, where we do handle a lot of news on here, but we still throw in a lot of collecting stuff in here as well.
Absolutely,
but our Wednesday and Friday shows are specifically almost always about collecting better and collecting cooler stuff. And I'm glad we're going in this direction in the hobby.
And we've always been that way, which is good. Like we don't have to make a switch. I'm glad, not specifically.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm glad that the hobby is moving more in the direction towards us, kind of centering back to where we are.
Yeah, we're losing some of the, I'll call them boom babies instead of baby boomers. They're boom babies. Like they're people who really just came into this because of that. They're at the end of the day, it's perfectly fine to make money in this hobby. Like we all do it. I do it. Majority of my hobbying is selling cards, what I like to do. But if the people that were just giving content, like it as a stock, you can't treat it like a stock. You can't treat a card. I would love to see Jeff Wilson get interviewed and just have somebody ask him, do you ever feel badly about the amount of money people probably lost in trying to invest in the things you were telling them to? Like, I would love to hear his answer on that, because it's a legitimate question. I'm sure nobody will ever ask him. He'll never answer it, but it deserves to be answered. Like, you were doing all this stuff, and now you're trying to be the warmer, gentler hobby guy, and I'm all for the hobby and stuff, when you were never that. So like, I'm sorry, I still hold him to that standard of the guy who was, selling you picks of what you're supposed to buy. You'll make money doing this. By the way, back at a time when everything was going up, that none of these people like Jeff Wilson or any of the other people that were telling you to invest in cards knew anything that anybody else didn't know. It was just everything went up at that period of time. And now that it doesn't, you see a lot of people that were just in it to make the money dropping out of it because it's too hard. What I do, what you do, EP, it's work. It's a lot harder. It's more of a grind than just, I'm going to buy this card today and I'm going to sell it tomorrow, or I'm just going to send all these cards into PSA and they're automatically going to be worth more money and I'll make tons of money off it. You can train a monkey to do that kind of stuff. It's really not special. None of these people were ever special. Right. I'm sorry, they weren't. Nothing special about people telling you how to make money when, like, even Gary Vee, I'm sorry, he was an influencer. He rode this wave. He got out of it, and left all these other people who
someone's going to comment below. No,
he will.
Man.
I'm sorry. I feel how I feel about Gary Vee. You can't prove different. He left. He abandoned the sports card hobby. He has nothing to do with it whatsoever anymore, and left all the people that were following him and putting all their money in investing into cards, holding the bag at the end of it. If he were such an intelligent person, he gets so much credit for, he saw the market was going to. He didn't have anything to do with COVID. COVID was just dumb luck for all these people. And if Gary Vee was so smart with what he was doing, he would have told people, now the market's going to go down soon. Get rid of your stuff. We're at the top. Never heard that from him. So don't try to sell me on how much of a visionary he was. If he was a visionary, you'll see the end just as clearly as you see the beginning of this. But
you want to talk about visionary? I thought Jeff Wilson was a visionary when he said, we're at the bottom. Remember that? Yeah. I called him a fraud. We had to bleep it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys bleeped this on me, but I called him a fraud, allegedly a fraud. And it's I feel this way for the exact same reason that Mike just said, is that, you got people to buy something that I don't believe you believe was going to go up and never come down. Come on. Like that, you're defining fraud when you do that. You're a snake oil salesman. And we got on more of a rant, anti-influencer rant here, but it just proves that he saw this, he's seeing this now, and he is coming out and doing different style content because he has to, because he knows he can't get views and clicks on the investment stuff because he's pretty much burned that bridge that he's good at this, right? There are certain people that just probably still think he's good at the investment side of it.
Anybody who has stayed making that kind of content has been exposed to be not good at it, because now it's not easy to go tell people. You can tell people maybe Shohei Ohtani and Caitlin Clark are the only ones right now that you can buy that might have a chance of going up some.
And anytime one last point real quick, EP, anytime that we say, okay, here's some great investment advice, we're joking. It's part of a bit.
I'm not.
It's sarcasm. Yeah, Mike on Friday's show, he'll give you some great brainstorming.
Every
advice.
Friday, I can make tons of money.
Right. So, but from our perspective, the reason we say that is because we're making fun of these people who are telling you that, oh, here's some great investment advice. Go do this. Chances are, do the opposite. You'll be fine. Or just hold your money I think Dustin actually says this. There's a lot of times you can just hold your money in a good money market and it'll make more on a return than a card will nowadays. Now, sure, before 2019, that wasn't the case. You could buy stuff and then a year later, 2 years later, it's through the roof. The real smart people were the ones who told you when to get out. The ones that told you to get in, like Mike was saying, they're not smart. They were just following the crowd at chow time, like to get to the cafeteria. They weren't doing anything special. The ones that knew when to get out, and these people might have known when to get out, they just didn't tell you. You know why? Because they didn't want you to get out because it would make their stuff worth less until they got out. So, yeah, I stick by my fraud statement. I don't know if you have to bleep it again. Allegedly a fraud. But, yeah, that's how I felt then, how I feel now.
Yeah, sticking with the conversation you guys are, or the topics you guys are talking about, like if you think about it, like I consider cards to be art. I mean, there are a lot of cards that are beautiful, even the ones that aren't beautiful. It's still art. It's still our collectible, our thing. And when you think about like even high art, like Andy Warhol paintings and stuff like that, like people are sure they're investments, but they're also appreciating these things. I think the difference is that when in our hobby, when the boom happened and all the content creators started creating all these investing things, the floodgates opened up and all these people came rushing in, and this is what they were thinking about, this they were looking at, and they were just looking for those things instead of actually appreciating it. And I think those are the people probably that we're seeing leaving, is that you have to appreciate stuff like this to be able to stay in it and to do it now when cards aren't. You're like you said, Mike. The one analogy you missed was buying blaster boxes for $20 and selling it for $100 on eBay.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's the one thing.
Yeah.
Like, so I mean, like you can't do that anymore. So the easy money's not there.
Target.
Yeah, right.
And you may be wondering why I'm here instead of upstairs, and the reason is, to your point, EP, I think of cards as little pieces of art as well. We're repainting the back. We pulled the shelves off, and we respackled, and by we I mean Rob, and he repainted that area. And I'm going to have display cases similar to Mike's, and they're going to host a lot of my Patrick Stewart stuff that I've been buying recently, and it's going to have a bunch of other cards that I find just really cool looking cards, and I'm going to put them out because, again, I think it's pretty cool. They look pretty cool. Star Trek cards are going up. They are. I don't know if I have anything to do with that as the big Star Trek influencer I am, but they have been going up recently, but I don't care. Like, I bought them because they're just cool looking cards, and that's, at the end of the day, that's what it should all be about. One other content creator, I'm not going to call him out by name, but I sent you guys a quote that he had when he made some content recently, which was it was kind of an interesting concept, but he said, "Oh, not enough people watched it, so I'm not going to do that anymore." And I'm like, but you specifically said you enjoyed doing that video, and you enjoyed the idea of doing that as a series, but because you didn't get as many views as you thought you should have, you're not going to do that anymore. I don't want us or anyone that we like as content creators think that way. we do 3 cards every week. We get 100 views on it, right? We don't care. We have a fun time going through cards. You know, people have a fun time commenting in the comments about the cards and who won and all that stuff. Like, if we only did stuff that we only got, we'd only be opening up boxes of Marvel or wrestling or doing PSA reveals. Like, that's not us. We want to have a good time. We want to talk about cards. We want to talk about the nostalgia. We want to talk about collectibles, little pieces of artwork, things like that. So yeah, when he said that, I unsubscribed. I'm like, I'm out. I don't need to follow you anymore, because if you're willing to not do content that you actually like doing, then why are you even doing this? What's the point?
Well put. Absolutely. And you know, we've been pretty consistent with this stuff too. We have talked since the bubble was the bubble about the bubble bursting. And I'm sorry, the 3 of us have been through it before. Older collectors, most of the people watching this podcast right now, I'm sure, have been through it before too. They remember the early 90s. They remember how it changed, how bad things got in the 2000s. Like, nothing lasts forever in any kind of collectibles market. They get hot and then they cool off. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to be able to say that whatever goes up, it's eventually going to come back down. And, you know, the people that were telling you it was going up, just wouldn't want to be bothered to tell you it was going down, even if they knew it was going down, because that would just kind of ruin their grift. And unfortunately,
I was going to say, comment down below if you can tell us the card that we jokingly say is the example of the bubble bursting. If you've been a follower of this channel, I'm curious if you guys remember, we've said it numerous times. When we looked at this specific card, I'm like, oh, the bubble's going to burst, because there's no way this card should be worth anywhere near this amount of money. I'm curious if anyone remembers that. So comment down below.
Well, I did want to say, Mike, if somebody was an expert on things going up and then coming down, rocket scientist is actually probably pretty accurate.
I know. I was thinking
really good.
I was there, like, wow, that's good, because they do come up. SpaceX will come right down and land right where it was launched from.
Yeah.
How about that? Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah. It's all fake.
Man on the moon, SpaceX. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not buying all of this stuff.
I saw a cool little poll that was done on Twitter. It was done by Junk Wax Heroes. So it's not the Junk Wax Hero that has a channel on YouTube. This is Junk Wax Heroes. But, you know, by the name, you know, it's probably going to be skewed in a certain way because of their following. But he asked the question, do you consider your card collection an investment? And out of 788 votes, only 39.1% said they consider their card collection an investment. 60.9% said they didn't. So, you know, we're getting back to normal in the hobby. The collectors are there. They're collecting, knowing they're collecting. You have value. Like, your collection has value. But that's how I feel about mine, but I don't feel like it's an investment. I don't feel like, oh, I'm buying this stuff because 20 years from now it's going to be worth more than what I paid for it. If I'm gone tomorrow, my family will get value out of the stuff I have. But it's not an investment. It's a hobby. It's something I enjoy. So I'm glad to see 60% of the people agreed with me on that.
60.9. Almost nice.
Almost
nice. You hit the nail on the head, Mike. That's exactly what I was going to say. Like, I always say on the channel, right? Shit costs money. So, like, everything we're buying for our hobbies costs money. You don't buy it thinking, oh, if this player does this or if that player does that, it's going to go up, or vice versa, right? It's, you know, if this player does this, it could go down. But it still has value. And I assume the 60.9% of the people who said no, they don't think of it as an investment. If you change the question a little bit, do you feel your collection has monetary value? Like,
yeah,
it should be 100%, or it should be pretty close to it. So I feel the same way. You know, when I almost died, I got a month of this, right? Yeah.
At least you're with us.
I got it at least a month. When I almost died the other week, you know, that's one of the things, you know, my financial advisor, who is a friend of mine, by the way, texted me, he goes, "Do you need anything?" And I said, "If something happens, Rob knows what to do." And I thought of that with the cards, like he would know to reach out to you guys and figure out how to sell these things. Mike will probably want a commission. EP will probably say, "No, I'll add money to the listings because that's how I am," But but the cards have value, that I collect. It's not a necessity for sure. Like if you are a straight up junk wax collector, you're probably going to have mostly stuff that you can get for 10 cents to a quarter. But beyond that, I mean, if you're going to buy a card from the 90s that maybe was 10 cents in the 90s and now is a $20, $50, $100 card, it has value. So is it an investment? No, but you're going to still have money attached to that at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird thing, right? Like, I mean, I agree 100%. Like, I would definitely vote that it's not, not an investment. But I have these assets. I have the NFL Uno cards that I purchased to resell. They're assets, which I mean that word can kind of gets kind of gross a little bit. But again, I'm using those to help fund the rest of my collection. When I really think about my collection,
you mean your portfolio?
When I think, that's part of my portfolio. When I think about my collection, I think about this 3-row box over here, like that's on this chair, like that's my PC box. And I think about a couple cards on the shelves over here. There's a couple cards in one of the boxes that can fit the slab cards. When I think about my PC, I think of a bunch of junk wax. I think about my Mike Trout rookie card, which could go up in value. But
you have that in a slab mag right now, by the way, the one I gave you.
I do. Okay. And the Tom Brady rookie, because those cards have stories behind them, and they're in my collection because of the what they mean to me. And that's when I think of my collection, I think of that. So that's how I would answer that. Even though I do have other things around here that are things I'm trying to sell, it's like Mike said, it's a little bit of a different thing than your actual collection. And I'm happy that the hobby is kind of going back to
60.9%.
Yeah, centering back toward where we are.
All right. Let's see. Where do I want to go from here? There is a new hobby documentary coming out. I just caught this the other day.
I did not see this.
Yeah, it is called the Hobby Hustle documentary. And quote is, it follows 3 people who become involved in the polarizing obsession that changed their lives forever. It is
by
director. Of course. It is.
No spoilers. No spoilers, EP.
I need to give credit out here. It's by director Michael Dalt, and it's going to be on Apple TV and Amazon Prime on February 16th, 2025. So we're going to have another documentary we're going to have to watch and review. This one could be interesting. I know The Hobby, we had a little trouble with that one. It was just, by the time it came out, it was so dated. So I don't know. The tagline is clearly a little dramatic, but I mean, they're trying to sell you interest in watching a movie, and probably people that aren't just collectors too. So I totally get that. But I mean, it could be interesting. I'm interested to see what way this will go. So this will be fun watching for us, and we'll get some content out of it. We'll definitely do a show. Maybe I'll reach out to the director at some point. Maybe we can see. I don't know. Haven't heard anybody else talking about this yet. So
we're up to 1.52 thousand. I mean, come on. You got to be on. You got to be on for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like the sound of the title makes me think and hope that it does show the darker side of the hobby, because beyond like the, people punching each other at Target or whatever to get blaster boxes, there are people who put a lot of money in this, probably listening to Jeff Wilson. Honestly, I'd love to hear that. Listening to Jeff Wilson and some of these other influencers and their life savings. Like, I've seen way too many videos where people sit in front of a camera sadly talking about how they have no money left because they put it all into cards, mostly wax, mostly opening up, chasing that big hit. And we've talked about our friend before who maxed out his credit cards on cards, and this was in the 90s. Can you we know how many cards he has when boxes were less than $100, so now you're looking at it, boxes are $1,000 to $2,000 at, kind of the mid-level, so there are a lot of people who have lost their shirts on this, and hopefully this documentary talks more about that than kind of like, I don't know, assholes who are trying to buy gold Lucas out of 10 and refusing to sell. And stuff like that. So
Talk about
hopefully
bad hobby decisions. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully it's something like that instead of sunshine and rainbows that other one was.
Yeah, there. Hopefully, I think we talked about this when we reviewed The Hobby, the documentary The Hobby. Like that was kind of doomed, right? Like it had to happen because of how crazy everything was. Like it was going to happen, but it was doomed because the tone was not going to fit with what came after it. Because we all said the bubble was going to burst, all sort of stuff. So it was kind of doomed. Where I think this one, having with us where we are now, you hope that the tone is different. The tone is going to be the most important part. We talked during The Hobby, like the woman at the very end who was collecting Pokemon cards. She seemed like somebody who
was the hero.
Right,
she was the whole thing.
Here the show, because she was a true collector, and she wasn't there talking about investment advice and telling about not selling like that gold Luca and stuff like that. And so I hope that we get more of that kind of stuff. I want to hear the personal stories of these people. I don't want to know what big deals they're not doing and not doing. I want to hear the personal stories about them, either how they started into the hobby, and then them opening boxes or them hunting for cards, that sort of stuff. That's the kind of stuff that I want to see when we're talking about the hobby. And so hopefully it's not, hopefully
no Josh Luber appearances. I want 0 Josh Luber appearances.
Yeah. I want the tone.
I want to see Josh Luber ripping Prism just standing there casually talking ever again. Sorry.
That's all right. That's right. Hopefully it nails the tone. I look forward to watching it because I love this hobby. Well, 3 of us love this hobby, and we want to see these documentaries and things that are documenting and telling stories of like kind of like our stories. I want to see that. That's what I'm hoping for.
I mean, I'm the tagline for whatever it is. Like it does make me interested because I feel like the stories of real people and how being in this hobby can impact you, like there's a good story there for a documentary about this hobby, instead of just trying to make, oh, look how cool this person is because they do this kind of thing. Like this hobby does impact people's lives, some of it positively, some negatively, and just like anything, just any other hobbies, there's all kinds of stuff out there. But hopefully this is that kind of documentary. So we will keep an eye out for that, and we'll definitely watch it, and we'll let you guys know if you should watch it or not. So.
Yeah, for sure.
I know people are counting on us to do that.
People have probably not watched the other one because of our review,
which is a good decision,
which is a fantastic choice.
The filmmaker wasn't really happy with us, but I mean,
that's right. He did comment on our video, didn't he? I totally forgot about that. But maybe make a better movie. I don't know. Then we wouldn't have a problem, would we?
All right. Well, I like to have fun with you guys here every now and then. I saw you guys go to baseball games. Even Joe, you're not a big baseball fan, but it's fun to go to the baseball.
The last one to go to
famously, he's been doing
absolutely.
Yep.
I saw the pricing for the concessions at Dodger Stadium for next year were released. God. I thought it might be fun to have you guys once again try to guess what the prices might be.
Okay.
Of some of the items on the concession menu at Dodger Stadium World Series champions for 2025.
Oh, God.
Let's start with popcorn. What do you think popcorn at Dodger Stadium is going to cost in 2025?
You go, EP.
$10.
I'll take the over. 15 at least.
Only $11 for popcorn.
I took the over, so I'm good. Okay.
Pretty good deal. Okay, how about soda? Just gonna get yourself a Coke.
$8.
8's really good. I'm gonna take 10 again, but I think 8's probably correct.
$13 on a soda.
Whoa!
Popping a pop is expensive in California.
Which is the item
I don't want to know what the beer
money on.
Right. Yes. Right. Absolutely.
How about a hot dog? One hot dog.
$12.
I mean, so you're saying it's going to be less than the soda?
I think so.
And I would have done $1 more than popcorn. It's at least 15. I'm taking the over like Joe did. I'm saying 15, but I'm taking the over.
Ding, ding, ding. It is $15.
15. Wow.
For a hot dog.
Wow.
$15.
That better be a goddamn good hot dog. All beef. That better be all beef, baby.
Okay. How about ice cream? you get your little helmet cup
The
of ice
helmet
cream.
ice cream, yeah.
Mhm.
I want to say at Pirates it was less than $10, so there's no way it's going to be less than $10. I think it's going to be 15 again. I think I'm going to go with that number.
I think he's spot on with 15, but considering the price of the other stuff, I will take the over again.
It is $18 for ice cream.
Ice cream. Jesus.
That's wild.
I think
Okay.
you could fly to Pittsburgh, watch a game there, eat all this stuff, fly back, and it would be cheaper. Jesus.
All right. Say you're a little hungry. I'm going to get myself a pizza. Dodger
$25.
Stadium.
25. And I'm assuming
again-
it's like a personal pizza. Like
Yeah,
little
that's my
square, yeah.
assumption too. Yeah.
25.
25 is good, but I'm going to say 20.
$28.
Oh my gosh.
For a pizza.
Probably,
What?
again, a personal shitty pizza. Okay.
Wow.
Are they
And of
flying in
course-
like Gordon Ramsay or Tom
They might
Colicchio to
be.
cook this
I
stuff?
mean,
What is
it is
happening?
It is
It is
California.
LA.
It was California.
It
I was
is
supposed to-
California, yeah.
Surprised we don't have like a truffle shrimp lasagna soup
They
or something.
probably
yet.
do. Yeah.
They
but
probably,
usually
yeah.
just-
That's a little bit
the
more than
basics.
25 EP.
Okay, and finally, we can't go to a game without having a beer. What
Or
is a
several.
beer or several? What's that going to cost you in Dodger Stadium in 2025?
I thought they only served wine at Dodger Stadium, so I'm kind of shocked they even have beer. I'm gonna say $18.
Oh, it's
I
going to be
think
more
they
than
were
that, dude.
10. I think they were 10 at PNC. So
Yeah, but if they're charging $28 for pizza,
yeah,
like it's like, and I'm pretty sure it's like $20 a beer at Penn State football games. I'm going to say 25.
$35 for
But
a
it's a-
beer.
Is it a big beer for $35?
$35.
that's got to be a 2-pounder. Jesus,
It's going to cost you $50 to get yourself a hot dog and a beer at Dodger Stadium.
wow,
That's
that
a World
is
Series. That's a World Series tax.
crazy. That is crazy.
They
I'm
are
on tilt.
really trying to make up for all that money that Shohei lost to his interpreter.
All right,
Well, they signed a couple people, and they're just going to be trying to sign other people too. So maybe they're thinking, hey, listen, you guys want to pay for your World Series or not?
oh my
Jeez.
God,
$5 for a beer. A beer.
you
You
could
can buy
buy
cases of beer for cheaper.
you could
than
buy
that.
3.5 beers in Pittsburgh, which I did, obviously. So you can buy 3.5 beers for that price, and probably a pizza for way less, dude. That is outlandish.
So, Joe, how many beers you drinking at the stadium if you go there?
I mean, a lot, but hopefully I have a sponsor or something to come with me to pay for it. Jesus H. That
I think you got to pregame it, you got to tailgate it, and then have no more than two at
Oh,
the stadium. Two is just two. Two is, I mean, $70. If you like, I couldn't like if you had a baseball game like you're sitting in the stands, have a couple beers, have a dog. Like that's what it should be. Like you can't have a couple beers at $35 a beer.
I'm starting to wonder what would be more expensive, like just a day at the ball game or like a box of Mercury, Tops Mercury or something. Like, holy crap. Like, could you imagine taking a family of 4?
Right.
Like as the dad taking a family of 4, that should be a B show or a Wednesday show. We should have like, okay, here's the budget for a family of 4 going to a Dodgers game. What cards would you buy with this instead? Like that would be a fun little game.
Anything we wanted.
Yeah,
Yes.
apparently. Jeez,
Well-
that's crazy.
I don't know, but I will tell you this. I would damn well rather buy a $35 beer than spend another $35 on a blaster box of Mosaic Football. Watch my Can You Make a Profit video and you'll see. Yeah, Mike is
Oof.
right. 35 for a beer, not too bad considering the crap
You don't
I
feel
got
gross
out of
after that beer.
that. Well, at least the beer will make me
Not
feel
as gross.
better.
Right. Oh, that's wild.
All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up there. That was a good chat this week, and I will see you next week. See you guys.
Drop a swear, EP. See you,
No,
boys.
I refuse. Adios.